Well, at least I'm hearing the skip plan tonight.
Yes, it is working.
All right, well, it sounds like it's on its way out, but I'm not sure.
No idea.
But the Old Tube Radio Network is on its way in.
Yes, there's my notification.
All right, let me find the Jingle Singers. And I think this is the Old Tube Radio Network.
On your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, good old RADIO. That's you and me, and of course the Old Tube Radio Network. Welcome to the noise such that it is. If you've been monitoring or listening, you can hear the skip is in from Hawaii, Australia, and wherever. We'll see what we can do about that tonight. I heard it was roaring in hot and heavy over there on Old Radio Night. And I think JT survived, although he has taken a much needed little respite here. But thanks for those of you who are joining us at oldtuberadio.net from ORN, where tonight the beautiful Tram TR27E was on the display table up near the air chair, and it looked, and I'm sure it sounded just as good as it did here, and it looked pretty good. My name is Dennis, Net Control, one of the many Net Control operators for the Old Tube Radio Network that is here in the Central Valley of California, live and direct on your radio, tuned to 27085, and everywhere else at oldtuberadio.net. Look for the glowing 6L6 tube, and there's a link to a YouTube video whereby you will see a likeness of some of the radios that we hope will be checking in shortly. Right now, it'll be directing that roll call. First, let me see if there's anybody that wants to try and make it through the skip to get an early check-in. Over.
Break. Break channel.
Go ahead, break channel.
Yeah, I'd like to check in. This is CR93, Jimmy.
All right, SWL 93, checking in through lots of the skip land, but I've got you in there 777. Over.
Well, thank you, Dennis.
24 trying to check in.
All right, and we've got 61. I've got 61, and I'll get the list up here. 61 is in, and also 24. So I've got you as well, Joseph. And I think I heard a 44 mobile. That is a bodacious mobile. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good night.
All right, sounding good in the mobile through the skip land. All right, we've got 61, and we got 24. We got 93. Who else would like a check-in to get through the skip here?
You got the Legend 53 checking in the Mobile.
All right, 53 in the mobile. Also, the Legend. Being Legend no longer. Be live and direct. I got you checked in, Bob. Thanks.
Dennis, have a good weekend. 195.
And up in Coarse Gold, beaconing through the noise, the good noise from Coarse Gold tonight, 195. Hello, Jim. We got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Station on the side.
Who's the station on the side? Over. All right, I thought that was you, sounding good from Kerman Town and the Prune Picker. Thanks, Dennis. We got you checked in. Over. All right, it's good to sound good every now and then. Or then again. Let me say hello to our listeners. Items of interest checking in with us. New York 157. Mike, I see you out there. I will get you checked in. No problem with that. UDX 875 is out there reading the mail. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Craig, we're coming up to you. GSW, hello, radio. I second that, or maybe I third that. 102, we'll get you checked in, no problem. Cornbread coming up to you guys. Kenny, we'll get you checked in, no problem. Hemorrhoid is in as well. Neutral observation, hello, radio. Thanks for checking in with us tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Levon will be in with you. Neil's in. Get 00 in right now. Neil's checking in under rainy skies out there in North Carolina, out in Kakalaki. Well, hopefully it is taking the dust off the antenna, and you had some good skip conditions. It is clear, 64 degrees in Rockwood, Tennessee. Thanks, Foxman 362, for the update. We'll give an update for us in a little bit.
Can you check me in early?
I can check you in early, over.
Okie dokie. I'll be back later. I haven't eaten all day. I'm gonna get some food and watch a little bit of the ball game. Then I'll be back.
All right, got 79. I've got 20. Is that a local ball game? Is that like a Bulldog thing?
You betcha, Bulldog, CBS Sports Channel. Okay, catch you after a while.
Okay, good deal, and we'll look for some hopefully updated scores that we'd like to hear. Thanks. Okay, looks like we're doing good. Randy, news about the Volt. The Volt, not being some fancy automobile, but a device similar to, where's the Wheatstone up here that does some very cool audio processing in a 1RU space. Good stuff. And Randy's got the radio to make that Volt shine. So maybe he found a new goes into and goes out to, an HD switch. Well, that's what I'm using. I'm using the HD switch on mine as well, or the HD function, and it actually gives you a few more little gadgets to work with, and I think the audio works better, or not works better, but it sounds a little bit better for the narrow banded sideband. So anyway, do your podcast and everything else. Well, good. I'm anxious to hear that on the air. All right, let's get back to radio stuff, tube radio stuff. If you've got a radio to check in tonight, I hope it is warming up. On the roll call side, 00 is in. SWL number 1 is saying, he's saying, what is up with the sweater? Well, the management, the OTR management came in early on. They said, it is the first day, we passed the first day of fall. And so they kind of wanted me to represent that fall, like, even though it is 85 degrees. And it's way too hot to be dressed like Mr. Rogers. But anyway, that's what they wanted. So we are in our fall OTR fall attire, our autumn attire. So that's, when the OTR management tells you to do something, that's sometimes you just have to say, no, you don't say anything. You just do it. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, is out and about over on the video chat. So say hi to Kevin and say, first tell OBP, SWL2, that he's 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. And then once you tell him that, say, hey, thanks for starting this thing up 38 years. I don't know, how long ago was it, Kevin? 37, 38 years ago. Tell him thank you for coming up with the idea. Let's go to SWL3. I got unkeyed. My key was stuck. SWL3. Oh, yeah, I got a check-in for 3 who is... He is out and about somewhere. He said, make sure you get checked in.
What's up with Rooster in Honolulu? What's up with the Rooster in Honolulu?
All right, now I can't get the key. Now I can't get the key down key. The other one I couldn't get it to key up. SWL5, Levon is in the house, and what do they say? Chilling? Or maybe you're chilly. You have chili. I don't know. Doing something like that. LaVon, we got you checked in. I know this guy is here, SWL7. Hello, Ed.
And hello, OTR and all the SWLs. Number 7 checking in.
All right, you got me grabbing my water here. I'm already talking too much, and we haven't even started, so I will commence to begin with the roll call. Sounding good. Whatever you're doing is sounding good. Let's go to SWL10. Anybody seen Chrissy? I'm going to look for the Jumping Dolphins. Might hear them live and direct tonight. The skip is in, of course, the gray line. The gray line is in from Hawaii, Australia. Not hearing anything in the Pacific Northwest. Checking the REA meter. We're looking good on the on AM. So we'll hang off for the Dan Cornbread, Dapper Dan. They are in the proverbial audio house tonight, and I will get them checked in. And Dapper Dan, I wonder if he is decked out in his fall sweater or whatever you, maybe your fall hoodie. I don't know what you would wear there, Dapper Dan, but I'm sure whatever you got is looking good. SWL 13, Mr. Cobra. I have not checked who's over at oldtuberadio.net, so let me press the appropriate buttons and do that.
Out here making deliveries, just like to check in.
All right, deliveries are good. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. We are here in Central California. We're on Channel 11, of course, streaming at oldtuberadio.net on the audio stream. And coming up, you will hear what it sounded like on your Citizen Band radio channel back in 1960 or 70 when those tube radios were all the rage, because they had to be. They weren't making the transistorized ones much anymore. I want to say hello to Sylvania, Ohio. We come up to you. Shinston, West Virginia. Always good to see you up there in the balcony. The unknown SWL running around with a rubber duck antenna in the bag over their head. Middleton, Ohio. Centerville, Virginia. We'll get to you. Inez, Kentucky. I think that's the Van Man. We'll get a honking proboscis for Van Man. A lot of stations in Fresno listening in because we have that skip. Sometimes it is hard to hear the Mud Duck Net Control. Newcastle, Virginia, Edmonton, Alberta. We'll see if we can't check in with the Squamish boys like we did last week. Sounding good. I hope. I haven't checked out the link up there, but I hope it is working. Plymouth, Minnesota, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Hans is in. We will get you checked. In fact, you're coming right up, so don't go away. And right in the front row, as he should be, is Chet, who said he's complimenting me on the sweater. Of course, you're not wearing a sweater, are you? Because it's 85 degrees in here. Nobody would be wearing a sweater right now. Let's go to SWL 14. I'm not sure if Sean can hear me through the noise. I will get Sean proxied in, and then hopefully he will beacon in and say hello radio. SWL 15, Alpha 173, listening in. I don't know we would ever have conditions your way. Maybe early in our morning. I don't know where that would be for you. That would be interesting, would it not? Anyway, Alpha 173 is at the ready. It's got the radio fired up, and we'll say hello radio if indeed anybody comes beaconing through from the West Coast. SWL 16, Anoka, Minnesota. Hello, Charlie. It's sounding good. Thank you for the. We're back to the. Somebody got the Costco card. We're back to the Costco water, and I'm already halfway through the small one. So, if there's more out there, don't save one for me. Let's go to SWL 17, SWL 18. Mikey, Mr. KDA is on the Facebook, said check him in, and I will do that. With the cue cards tonight, as always, SWL 19. Thank you, Chet. I will put the appropriate X in the square, and he says, okay. See, they put the microphone. I was getting this shadow. You shouldn't have to worry about video when you're talking on the radio, but for some reason we do that here. So they moved it so it's kind of up. I guess it's pointing the right way. It's kind of weird in the shot though, but it seems to be working. So I'll just leave it alone. I won't mess up your handiwork. SWL20 checked in early so he can watch the game and hopefully report on said game. SWL21, Mr. JT, I'm going to, let me see if I can find it here and not do any bad stuff, but tonight on ORN, it went away. It does, oh, you know why? Because he signed off, because it's not going live. I will go to, is it now a video? You know, this YouTube thing is, and JT's saying it, is that this YouTube thing can be a pain sometimes, trying to figure that out. Okay, there's the audio.
Back out.
And there is...
Break channel.
Come on, break.
Hey, 21, dirty diaper, 808 in the Rockies. About a 21, dirty diaper,
Listen to that.
808, standing by.
Hey, man, you really coming in good there, 808. How you?
Listen to that. He's just
Oh, not too bad.
like he's talking local for the skip plan.
Mother Nature doesn't permit. It's always good to put the broken spoke on you. 21, dirty diaper, 808, standing by.
Yeah, 10-4. Appreciate you getting in there. Somebody want to know what channel we was on. We're on channel 17.
17?
Yeah.
No wonder I couldn't find you guys. I was listening in on 12. I was listening on 12, and I thought I should be able to hear him because the skip is rolling in. That is a beautiful radio. And there's the mod light working. We should go cut to this. If anybody checks on a Tram TR23E tonight, I may turn down your audio, but run the set. So we'll do that. I think we're going to use your radio tonight. So let me stop that guy. All right, thanks 21. Nice item tonight. SWL 22. I'm listening, looking for Tyler out of Alaska. 23 Skidoo, Mitch, and all the fun people. And Jeff is in. You know, Jeff, I think we reassigned your number because it was so long ago. It was ever so long ago when you had your, I just want to make sure. Yeah, well, I know if you're coming back, we may reassign it to you because I think the person that got signed to it isn't checking. They're not checking any either. Well, the Cheesy 103, good to have you back, the Old Tube Radio Network. We are still here, believe it or not. We are still doing this radio stuff. It's kind of fun. SWL 24, let me go back to the list where I could find the list because Joseph just checked in. So we didn't get 22, we didn't get 23, we didn't get 24. Let's try SWL 25. And I'm going to proxy in. Actually, get a Jerry a check-in. He checked in over the phone earlier this week. And 808 up in the Colorado Rockies, where I'm sure the skip is beaconing in. Let's try SWL 27. And I do have the crossband up. I do have the Echolink link. I see we have someone on the Echolink, so that's a good deal. Let's head up the road to Sacramento, looking for SWL 28. Hello, Gary, and wonder what's going on tonight.
Take it easy in that mobile. Victor Mike, 0-0.
Yeah, I'm getting some Australia coming in. Let's try, got a check-in for SWL 29. Still looking for 10 and 30. SWL 31. Hey, there's Mr. Cobra. Hey, Mike, I see on the item of interest, we'll get an X in the square for 13 and make it official. Another check-in for page 1. SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33. Well, I know who that is. That's me and everybody here in the control room and break room tonight. Honk of the proboscis from Bozo Control. There's Gary. You probably got, like I have, a slow internet thing going on tonight. You make it official. I don't know. Sometimes I hook these things up and say, go as fast as you can, but it's up to the Universal Media Network as to what it wants to do. Gary checking in with his cold double cola over ice and candy corn. That sounds like a lot of sweetness there, Gary. I don't know if I could take soda and candy corn at the same time. Gary, you're going to be up all night. Or maybe, I don't know. And that's a double cola. Is that like RC? I don't know. Candy corn is good. Now doggone it, now you make me want some candy corn. But there's probably all over the place because we're coming up to Halloween. Okay, 33 is in. Who else? How about Jimmy? Is Jimmy in the gang out there near Chicago? Now, the Chicagoland people, anybody from the Chicagoland group listening in, hello to you. I hope you're having good items up there in your radio world. SWL 35, Mr. Bill, let me roll over were I to actually be able to use this trackball mouse and see if we're hearing from 35, Red Monkey Communications, anything like that. All right, not yet. So I will proxy him, and he might be busy doing something cool. So we'll get you checked in. SWL 36. SWL 37. Look at Chris proxied in. I bet he will be around. He's probably watching the game. The Bulldog game must be good tonight because everybody's out there watching it. All right, my downward expander is dropping out. I've got two of them on now. I think that was a bad decision. One is hard enough to use. Sam, as you can hear, our relay stations have dropped out. Just right before the net, there was total skip land in Hawaii and Australia, and I don't hear much of anything. But if you can get yourself a 10.5, we will get you checked in. Let's go to SWL 39. Also, Big Rich 6520, as they say on the CB radio, waving a hand, or maybe two hands, I don't know, or maybe three hands. He might be getting some help tonight. So looking good tonight there, Rich. Let's go to SWL 40.
Break.
And the break, go ahead, over.
Yes, Dennis, I was in the other room, SWL 37.
Okay, I figured you might be, and I gave you a proxy check in the hopes that I would take it to an X, and that is what I have just done.
Okay, I have one question. Does this radio sound all right?
It sounds good. Take another transmission, and we'll listen and look at the S meter.
Okay, I just wanted to check on it. I picked this up here about a month or so ago. It's a little mobile radio. I just wanted to check it out and see if it worked.
Okay, and I'm not lying because the SWLs, our viewers are watching, and they know this is going to be a true audio radio check. You are 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. Over.
All right. Well, this is one of these Royce. What is it? It's a Royce 40-channel mobile AM model dash 648. I've never seen one, but hey, it works.
No, it doesn't sound too bad. I think you're on the stock microphone. If you're not, it still sounds fine. You are modulating it up to S9, and the audio is very good.
Yeah, this is a stock microphone. I just wanted to see how it worked while I was checking in on this part, but it's coming off, or I'm putting it back in this box. I just want to make sure it worked.
Yeah, doing good. So thanks for checking in, and thanks for the new radio.
Right, well, it's not a tuber, it's just a solid state, but hey, it's one of their 40 channels. But hey, it's a Royce. Who knows? I'll be back with the others in a little bit.
Yeah, back in the days when they were saying, no, you don't need those tubes anymore, but you know what? We will prove them wrong tonight. We will prove that the tubes are welcome and sound good anytime. Sam, I see you in there. We'll get the official check-in for 38. I'll call SWL 40 again. All right, don't hear him on the crossband. I think the crossband is up. SWL 41, what is happening out in New York tonight? Road Dog 507.
About here at Fresno Airport.
I hear you out there by the airport, where the planes are coming and going, and hopefully everything is good. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network here in Fresno. Road Dog 507 saying hello, radio, checking in. Of course, the Tri-County React from Hudson Valley, serving all of Hudson Valley. And a good evening to you, 507. Thanks for joining us. SWL 42. Oh, you know what? They're missing. Why are you missing the check-in thingy? Where is it? Wait a minute. You are missing it. No. That isn't good. Why? No, it is missing. And it should not be. Okay, well, you know what? It's going to be very difficult for me to troubleshoot that. And why it's not there. There should be no reason for that not to be there. All right, well, you know what? I cannot full page S-meter. No. I'm just doing it quick. The S-meter's there. That's part of the item. Well, all right. Well, thanks. You know, I'm looking. I can look at the screen at some point. So that, you know, something tells me that is some other issue. So I wonder. You know what? Just for while I check here, let me see if it's even going to go. I'm going to go from that. Will it put up a radio? Let me see if it's going to put up a radio. Hold on. That would not be good if I cannot get a radio here. Oh, you know what? It's not doing that either, but can I go to the radio? That would be right here. Okay, I can do that. So it's my preview is off. So that's what you would be seeing in the preview. Okay, I don't like that. All right, well, thanks for that. Okay, I'll remember that. I'll try, if we're doing a radio, not to sit on the preview channel too much. All right, sorry for doing technical stuff during the net, but you know, it gets complicated. Do not add. How many times have you heard me say that? Don't add pictures to radio. Well, I will go back. Let me just recalibrate. I will go back to the SWL check-in stuff because, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to refresh this page, see if it'll refresh. All right, well, we are looking for SWL 43. Because I still think it logs it in somewhere else, so I have to keep punching the numbers. SWL 44 checked in a very good sounding mobile unit tonight. Good to hear 360 out there. Always sounds good. I missed the Friday night net last night because we were busy doing stuff. And Ray always has a good location to do 10.5s and relays and things. I'm getting SWL. If you're listening, Paul, if you're listening, Kelly, I've got you guys checked in. I'm missing you over the radios, but hopefully you've got it tuned in or watching us at oldtuberadio.net. So Paul and Kelly got you checked in. Let's go to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47.
Good evening, OTR from the Radio Lounge. This is SWL 47, where it's great to hear everyone on the amplitude modulation frequency band. I spent a lot of time yesterday driving around listening to the FM band, and it was really interesting. Someone was doing a pledge drive during a talk show about my employer, actually, and I almost called in to pledge some money, but since I had no cell phone, that was impossible. But anyways, it's nice to be here on the AM mode.
And you're sounding good on the AM mode. Well, I know one of those stations down in the commercial portion of the FM band that is in there, and I'm appropriately dressed for that. Their fall pledge drive, but you know, all the stations that are listener supported have to do that occasionally. And here we are listener supported here, but we don't ask for your money. We just ask for your time a little bit on Saturday evenings to come by and say hello. So anyway, you're sounding good. The skip has sort of died down, so not a problem hearing you. Over.
Oh, good. Well, you sound superior on the AM mode and FM as well. So there it is, 73.
All right, looking good. And here's how I can... It's going to be a little jolting, but if I go to that, you can see that the little check-in thing is there. It's just not showing up. So, all right, we'll go back to the control. That's going to be fun. All right, thanks, Mike, for checking in. And I will only do that for stations that check in, just so you can see that I've done my duty to click the knob. SWL 48. Shortwave listener 49. And Travis, what? Travis is feeding the piranhas again. What? Where do you live, Travis, that you have to feed the piranhas? I think the piranhas have left. That was the skip around here. SWL 50.
Oh, yeah, he's here and checking in.
All right. And Mark never has to feed the piranhas. I think maybe he is. It's piranha himself. You are sounding good, sir. So, Monkey's uncle is in. Let's go out to Sanger. We tried earlier when it was noisy. It is not so noisy now, so maybe I can hear 305. Hello, 51.
SWL 51, checking in.
All right, good to do it live and direct. No need to resort to that Universal Media NetWeb thing. You're sounding good. Over.
Check, guys. Have a good evening.
Okay, then we go over to SWL 52 for Mr. Aaron, who could check in various ways here.
Yes, hello, radio, SWL 52, behind the golden microphone on the appropriate OTR frequency.
Yes, indeed, and I bet you are exactly on the appropriate OTR frequency. You are sounding good. The DX window has closed, and so it's making it nice for everyone here.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, went up to Kings Canyon today and played a little bit of Coda on 20 meters, so lots of fun on the air.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Is it, they're not closed up yet. It's still September. Sometimes they start closing things up or limiting where you can go, so I'm assuming you got in. Did you go up to... What's the entrance up there? Grant Grove, right? Were you up that way?
Yeah, I was up behind Grant Grove Village up at Panoramic Viewpoint, and there's no need to close anything this year because half the stuff didn't open because of the storm. You can't even get into Rhodes Inn down in the canyon. The whole road was washed out. So, yeah, half the park's closed anyway, so there's nothing to shut down this year.
Oh my gosh, I didn't. Cedar Grove is my favorite place to be. It's a 90-minute drive, basically, to get down the canyon, and then you're in a hole. So I don't know how it would work for HF, but where you are at, you're up like 6,500 at the lookout point before you go down the hill into the canyon. There's a couple of great lookout points. I probably could have heard you direct on 20 meters. I probably heard you at ground wave, maybe. So it sounds like fun. It's a great place up there. Hopefully the weather was... probably a little cool, but the air was good. So and you were back already. All right. So you've had a busy day. Thanks for checking in.
Yep. I was up at 7,500 feet, and the weather was perfect. Just a little bit of smoke in the air, but other than that, the temperature was perfect. So back to the net.
All right. Thanks. I will. If I know you're doing it next time, I'll listen in. That's a great spot, and I'm assuming they've got... do you remember the number? Do you have a number for that park?
Yes, it is Kilo 46. The nice thing about the national parks is they're only a 2-digit number.
Ah, okay, guys. Normally they're 4 numbers, and of course, they think, well, why did they give them a number? But if you were having to say, I'm at... Kings Canyon, whatever, with these big long names, and if you're on CW, so just a nice simple letter and a number to get checked in. All right, good deal. So thanks for the activation.
Roger.
Okay, and Dave, I went back. I'd been using. I wanted to address Dave's comment about the microphonium. I was using the $30 microphone, the $30 Neumann knockoff, and yeah, it plays. It works okay. It plays like a $30 microphone, but I've made some other changes. You just can't beat these a good expensive condenser microphone when you're doing some audio trickery. So thanks for the update on the audio check. It's not a very pretty mic. I'll give it that, but it does work well. We did hear Mr. Belair, SWL 53, got him checked in over to page 4, SWL 54. Oh, here comes Honolulu again. I will get board jammer checked in. Let's go up the hill if you can hear me. SWL 55. SWL 55. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the Net. 56, just for kicks.
All right, sounding good, sir. You know, I may just keep that screen up so you don't have to look at me. Oh, I know, I got to check. I got to see who's out today. I do believe I am beaconing, yes. They're showing a fire, and the number 4 mobile is parked safely tonight. So very good. Got you checked in. You are listening to, if you're listening at all, to the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. My name is Dennis, the net control guy, at least for tonight, trying to figure things out here and get us to the point of the net where we talk to and talk about and talk with the tube radios. Up to that point, we say hello to our shortwave listeners, and we are doing that right now. Specifically to SWL 57 from Central Kentucky, Mr. Brown Dog Audio, and I mentioned before, you don't have to be on any list or on any number to come in and say hello. Please do that, won't you? And I'll try and pay attention and find out what you're doing and what's up for the week. 57 saying that nothing special to report this week, just happy to be here. Me too. Everyone have an awesome weekend. I am trying. You know, sometimes you build up to that. It's almost to the 11 on the awesome meter, and then and then the phone rings, and it's like, oh, now we're back down to a 6. But we're on OTR, so I am back up to an 11. So that is a good way to end the evening. SW, thank you there, BDA. SWL 58.
Break OTR.
The break OTR. Go ahead. Over.
Can I get a check-in for 55, please, Dennis?
55. You know what? I am on that page. It is an easy thing to do, mechanically, virtually, and everywhere else, and to prove to the SWLs that you are checking in and checked in. We're switching that and doing that. Thanks.
Thank you.
That takes us to SWL 59 from his appearance over on ORN. I think he's one of the regulars. He is one of the regulars on Old Radio Night. He's sort of like, Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. He's like the Ed McMahon over there, I think. SWL 59. He's checking in. United Delta X-Ray 786. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's go to SWL 60.
Well, thank you, brother. SWL 60, checking in.
All right, from the land of sky blue waters and not sky blue skies. That's here in the Central Valley. Maybe not even sky blue waters. Joe, you are sounding okay. I hear you, so thanks for taking a transmission. All right, well, I think I'm still functioning here. I have to occasionally kick into the REA meter and make sure that we have positive and negative and asymmetrical modulation and non-flat top, all that stuff, all that things that YAM stations are supposed to do or want to do and hopefully do well. Let's go to SWL 61, who checked in. Checked in earlier. SWL 62. Shortwave listener 63. SWL 64. Craig is around somewhere in Wisconsin, doing it whatever one would do. What's the weather like out there tonight? I don't know. It's nice here. It is perfect weather to not be wearing a sweater. I'll tell you that much. And we are working our ways to. Oh, now that Craig, that's funny. I think this is a. Let's see if I can get this up. This is probably a copyrighted thing, but I will show. We'll see if we won't get in trouble. This is if you were to go to Craig's QRZ page. This is what you would see. This is often what you don't see when OTR, when the Old Tube Radio Network is prepping for the net. That is often the case. So you got to be careful. Anyway, Craig, thanks for that. I hope we can chat on the HF side sometime. The bands are getting good. Let's go to SWL 65. And what I will do, were I to have the right page on here, is get a proxy check in for Eric, which I will do right now. Over to SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67.
Break OTR.
And I will get a check in for Bill. The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Hey, 61 wanted to check in where I could actually hear you.
All right, and I actually hear you, and I will check you in yet again. There's room for another X. You're sounding good.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, and thank you. And let me go back to Dapper Dan, SWL 12, who, like me, let me go back to the picture, is probably decked out in his autumn attire. Now, where he is, maybe it's more apropos to be dressed in a sweater. And it's not 85 degrees. But anyway, I always have to use SWL 12, Dapper Dan, as my key, as my gauge to how I should be presenting myself on the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 68 is checking in, and actually checked in, he did. Earlier in the net, over on the video side, Michael, I've got you checked in. And likewise with this guy right here, Kenny, SWL 69 from Tulsa, joined us earlier in the net here. He's, 2 hours? 3 hours? Not sure. But anyway, thanks. Thanks, Kenny, for checking in. Steve says, did I hear you on that 88.1 thing yesterday? And I cannot tell a lie. You probably did. You might have heard me today, even though I wasn't there. Sometimes the miracle of pre-recorded tape does that. But yes, indeed. That might have been a likeness of your Mud Duck net control operator. Kenny, you are checked in. Let's go to SWL 70. And Steve, thanks for listening, whether you liked what you heard or not, right? SWL 71, Stan is in there. He's checking in. I briefly went over, was it last night? Tonight? I don't know. I haven't been on the radio much. And it was just a ruckus down below 7105, 7100, 7050. So I think there's some type of RTTY digital. Stan probably knows. There is some RTTY roundup contest going on. I didn't check to see what the official thing was, but if you look at the scope, look at the band scope, you can just see all those little stations beaconing away, having a good time. So thanks, Stan, for joining us tonight. As always, SWL 72. I'm going to get Radio Boy checked in. He was shooting skip on 11 and doing a good job. He had it fired up and was talking to them all. SWL 73. SWL 74. I got to check in for Ms. Jilly. SWL 75. SWL 76. Out there in Johnson, Rhode Island. Red Fox 1. Who should be saying hello, radio, once. Well, the video's there. I put the little checking in thing, so people could see that we're checking. You know what? If it's a screen, you're probably not seeing the top of the screen. Can I move that? I can't move that. All right. So you want to go back to this boring control room video without the check-in thing. So I think if it may not display, it's right at the top of the screen, so it might not be displaying. So let's see. 76. Did you come in yet? I thought I saw Rhode Island on my... Hello to Brooklyn, New York, Germantown, Wisconsin, Yellow Springs, Ohio, Kerman, California. Joining us. All right, well, maybe I'll put a hold on 76. SWL 77. A note to proxy in 1017, which I will do. SWL 78. Looking for Wild Wildemar. I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be getting on 40 meters tonight. I've just got a lot going on around here. SWL 79. Philip, I did see you earlier on the video display screen, so thanks for joining us. SWL 80. Looking good. Going over to page 4. The big red limousine and the blue limousine were out this week. Some type of Fresno State, I don't know. I don't think it was homecoming, but they had a lot of the Fresno State students riding high and giving their bulldog cheer up and down Blackstone Avenue and Shaw Avenue by the campus. Doing a good job. Let's go to SWL 81. Yeah, well, you know what? Somebody said he looks like I got a haircut. I found the good comb, and they had the makeup crew here today. They said if you're going to have the sweater on, we want you to have sort of a different fall look. And I have yet to find a good barber shop after COVID. But who needs that, right? Let's go to SWL 82. And I'm going to get Ron checked in. I missed the Ditch Banks sideband net last night, so I don't know what was going on with that, if they had skip going in, but I just a plug for Ron, because a lot of you are in the skip zone, were you to be here locally or, I don't know, Australia, Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Ditch Banks sideband net, it is sideband, of course. You will find it on 36 lower, 27,365 at 8 p.m. Pacific. We're still in daylight time. 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here on the West Coast, of course, on 36 lower. So join them. And the Orion Spectro. I wish I had my... I don't think I have it. I don't think it's queued up, but I'm going to take a chance and see. Radio? No, it's not there. All right, I was going to do the Orion Spectro in the reverb, but I can't do that. So much for, when you need the special effects, they just aren't there. Going to SWL 83, JZ in Sylvania is there. I do believe a Van Man. Exactly. That is exactly what I've been doing. That's why it looks so tragic. But sometimes it's like, well, it's good enough, right? I have not been to any place where they kicked me out, saying, no, you go do it right. Go to Supercuts. So those little scissors have come in handy. Red Fox 1, SWL 76. I see you now. I will get you officially checked in, and we were looking for Jay-Z. Did I miss Jay-Z coming by? I think he was in. I think Jay-Z was in. I will put an X in the square probably early. SWL 84. And Jerry can often be heard on the noontime net, or whatever they're calling it now, on 7204 at around noon, strangely enough. So Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl, all getting an X in the square. Let's go to SWL 89.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
I don't know how I missed it, but I was listening to you on the internet one, and then I came over here because you were only at 76, and I missed out. So 82 checking in late.
Oh, no problem. I'm on the right page. Oh, we did the promo for the Ditch Bank sideband net, which unfortunately I had to miss last night. Occasionally I'll do a little a QC on my 21st Century phone, and tonight it was taking a long time to lock up. It was way behind, so maybe there's some internet thing going on where it's just very slow, and that's probably my issue, so maybe that was the deal. Maybe we're getting slow. So net report last night, was there a massive skip land at the beginning like there was tonight?
No, we had nice, quiet, very polite Australians from down under who were very polite, very nice, and I think we got like 6 or more of them checked in, and we had like a tally of 35 or 38, something like that. So, yeah, it was pretty good, man, pretty nice.
All right, well, that's good. I'm sorry I missed it. And, the down under stations, the Australian stations are always kind of polite. They're even the way they say cotton picker. They even say cotton picker nice.
I know it. And the Jeremy report is he got a job, so he's working. So now he uses the excuse he has no time to put up his radio station, but he has all the stuff there. But he's got this thing called a job, and his side job is flying drones around.
Wow, I would say that sounds like fun, but I don't know if it's a fun thing. And it sounds like you do need a skill level to do that without causing injury to yourself, others, and damage to the device. So hopefully that's something that he wants to do.
Yep, he's even got the little special license from the FFA or whatever license it is that's important. He has it. So, all right, Dennis, thanks for doing this net. It is quite a job. I'm glad I don't go through that much stuff, but somebody's trying to talk me into other things. We'll see what happens. All right, 7-3 from SWL 82.
All right, and just one thing. Do you occasionally jump in on the Wednesday night net for net control?
Yes. In fact, I'm doing it this Wednesday.
All right, well, that's 2 nights a week. I only get to do one, although I sort of promised somebody that if and when I'm retired enough to not, know where I might be on a certain day at a certain time, and I get a non-mud duck station that I could help out and jump on the rotation. We'll see how that works out.
Yep. Now this Friday night I won't be around. I'm gonna take a little road trip to Idaho for a wedding, so I'm gonna try to turn and burn that. So won't be out there Friday. Hopefully Daryl and Dennis 1017 will kind of take over and help out on that net. So for Friday night. So anyway.
All right, good deal. Listen for us in the mobile, because we do occasionally get into Idaho when Dwayne and Chrissy fire up their great radios. All right, thanks for checking in. Thanks for the reports, and back to whatever it was you would do.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Okay, they were talking about the eclipse. And so this is it's got a name. It's not a total eclipse. It's a something eclipse. And it should be visible in the proper part of the U.S. for most of us. But at least here it's called something else. But anyway, that's coming up. So and that's what, the 12th? What did you say? The 14th. So we'll have time to talk about it more. What I need to do is get through the roll call so we can check in some radios. We were up to 89. We called SWL 90. SWL 91. Staying up late, hopefully, tonight. Mr. Felix, of course. Like a clock. Or I could set my clock to Felix. There's a lot of stations out here that just are right there. We got a check-in, we've got the applause, and we've got the hello radio. All right. Looking good, Felix. Thanks for jumping in. I'd like to catch you on the HF bands sometimes as well. Let's go to SWL 92. Jimmy 777 checked in earlier in 93. And the 95 guy, SWL 95, Warthog 95, is possibly out there listening. And Boston 97, I think, when I listened in, I didn't say much on ORN, but I think Jim was in on the mix tonight on ORN. So a check-in over at ORN is good enough for a check-in here on the Old Tube Radio Network. If you can rattle JT's cage, you should get a big X in the square here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go. SWL 98, Tracy is in. Of course, he's over. Say hello to Tracy. He's over on the video chat tonight. Looking and sounding good. SWL 99, Radio Randy. I'm very interested to see what he is doing with the Volt on the HD mode. They probably loaded, there's a software. With the Wheatstone, you just click a button and it goes. With the Volt, you load the HD. And even though they kind of don't recommend it, they don't promote it. But it seems like it's it's a better way to go, but I could be wrong about that. Is it time? Oh, yeah, it is time for some Echolink action. So were I to have the proper items of interest set up, I could see if Tony is listening in. He is preparing for tubes on the air, and we'll see if what's going on in McClellanville tonight. KD4BAO, KB6G, FD. Up here on the Echolink link.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SW100. Good to hear you. You're sounding good. Back to net.
All right, and my internet is still lagging on that machine. I'm working on updating that portion of things, so hopefully it will work up. I heard you. Sounding good. Thanks for getting all the filaments lit up, and we're getting to the tubes. 73 KB6GFD. All right, good to hear on Echolink link. Thanks, Tony. Let's go over to shortwave listener 102. That being John Deere in Arkansas, and he is there saying hello radio. I've got the proper item picked out. I sure would like to know what happened to our radio screen. It's a long, believe me, if it's something I messed up, I don't know how I did it. It's a long, drawn-out process. It's still, it's still displaying on the previews. It's something I don't have set up right. It'll probably take me, since I haven't done it in years, it's probably going to take me all day to figure it out. Because I'm not one of those IT internet guys, even though you might think so. Dressed like this, I don't know. Let's go to SWL 103. Up in the beautiful town of Auberry, look for the Wooden Bear up in Auberry, or the Bears. There are many of them. SWL 109. I have a story about the Auberry Bears, and I will only impart that if James is on, because he might need to know. He probably already knows. SWL 110. Shortwave listener 111. Thank you, Robert, for checking in early. Grunt was listening in, obviously, during the skip land and said, no way, Jose. Let's go to SWL 113. I am checking Tom in. He was on the Friday morning net and the Wednesday net. I think his moniker is the guy that only has one friend or something like that. Well, if we check into OTR more often, I would guarantee we'll give you at least another friend. Where are we going? Just because it's autumn, do not wear a sweater. This is even worse than the seersucker suit. Let's go to, and it's actually cool tonight. Cooler, I should say. SWL 114. Hello, Wayne.
114, checking in.
All right, you are sounding good. There is absolutely no skip. And were there a skip, I would still hear you. You are one of those stations that, no matter what, makes it into the net control. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you for doing the net, Dennis.
And my pleasure. Let's go to, I want to say hello to, and I'm going to say this wrong, Jay Husanomics saying hi. And I'll say hi right back. The Old Tube Radio Network. We've been here, we've been doing this on the air, saying hello to stations, checking in and talking about the tube radios for a long, long time. Way back in the 20th century. How we made it in the 21st century, I don't know. Well, I do know. It's all our great listeners and tube radio operators. SWL 128 would be the ever popular. Now, he's a true shortwave listener. Way back in the days when Popular Electronics gave out numbers for doing that. John in Fairfax, Virginia, who is, were I to actually know how to use my trackball mouse, listening in tonight, checking in. Is he checking in? Let me see. I may have to give him a proxy check-in tonight. Refreshing my page. Anyway, I would have checked in for 128. Let's go to SWL 131. Oh, and it's there. You know what? My page didn't refresh. Well, that's not a good thing. And they're checking in about an hour ago. Stan checking in. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Mike checking in. Saying, then yeah, you do look like Mr. Rogers. Well, we do not have to change my shoes. I like that. I don't have to change my shoes to do OTR. Let's go to SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135.
Live from the CB Cabana. This is SWL 135 checking in, and happy Equinox Day. Happy fall, autumn, whatever to everybody.
Indeed. We're having that kind of weather here in the greater Fresno area that if it was like this all the time, people would actually want to live here. You are sounding good, and I can tell that we've just gotten a little teaser for one of our radios coming up, sounding good. And thank you, 362, for the reminder not to, don't forget to feed the fish. I never forget to feed the cats because they let you know. Fish are a little bit different. They're a little bit more discreet in letting you know that you haven't fed them. Let's go to SWL 137. Up to Tony in Course Gold, if you're listening, SWL 145. I will get Tony checked in. As I mentioned, he runs, or he doesn't run, well, he's a net control station for the early risers net. Let me see if sometimes he leaves some questions here. Let me see. Oh, which microphone requires a bias voltage? Says carbon. If you are working towards, a carbon microphone. I didn't know that. Is that why they use them on telephones? Because there was a voltage coming through the line, and on some of the CB radios, of course, they had carbon microphones, and there's probably a voltage coming through. Gosh, the Brownings have, 80 volts or something? You got to be careful on that keying circuit. You will get a nice big spark when I put up the J38 key. So, all right, good to know about that bias voltage. We'll talk to Harvey about that. We'll talk to Harvey about remind me to talk to him about a bias voltage on carbon microphoniums. Let's go over to SWL 147. Neil, who did check in. And so, as 00, of course, and 147, saying that it was raining in Kakalaki. I will say hello to, where is it? SWL 40, 785. I do have the crossband, though. But last time I think I can hear you when you're bicycle mobile in my neighborhood. Out and then near the burning dumpster fires. Bring your HT. Maybe the heat will beacon into Midtown here. Let's go over to Mr. Snowbeast, SWL 188. And then over, SWL 195, Mr. Course Gold Starliner, a veritable fixture of the old Tuba radio network. Checked in earlier. And SWL 226, Mr. Shockwave. And anybody else that I might have missed? Boy, it's super quiet now. Let me check before we go, before I get to the tube radios. I do have somewhere the real-time map of what's going on with the... Oh, look at this. Look at that. Nothing, as they say. Although we're going to hear, we're going to get some... Will it go out to Hawaii? I don't think it does. Oh, there it does. There it is. Nothing there. Just like that. Everything is gone. But I bet we're going to hear something. We will be the first to know. We'll probably outsmart the map. All right. It is tube time. I am going to do that thing that I need to do to get ready for that, and I will be back, sweater and all, and hopefully there will be a few of the glow-in-the-dark radios. I think the Bulldog game is still going. It must be good. We haven't got a report yet. We haven't got a score yet, but hopefully it will be good. Back in a moment on your old Tube Radio Network.
Dennis, just so you know, whatever team we're playing has 10 points. Fresno State has 36 at halftime.
Like it or not, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was just jumping into the air chair, and I've got various people saying, don't forget to turn the radio on behind me, to be able to reach it. You know what? I'm going to have to stack some more radios that are able to be turned on without doing bad things behind me. A little give something to look at. So, all right, that is done. What else am I supposed to do? I don't have no pocket protector. No wonder there's no pen. No pocket protector tonight. That's okay. We will give it a rest. I have to officially sign in to the Tube Radio list. So when I look at them 10 years from now, I will know that it was September 23rd, 2023. All right, sorry about the audio. Seems like it's fading out here. Do I need to, I could do that. Maybe that's probably a bad idea. I could give myself one little notch of some output gain here. And hopefully that's not going to make too much background noise. All right, this is your Old Tube Radio Network, and we are listening for any and all check-ins.
Number 7.
35135.
All right, I will take them in the order that I heard them. So, Ed, step up in the air chair. And 135, I'm writing you into radio number 2. What is our official time? My unofficial time is 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. The Old Tube Radio Network, Fresno, California, 27085. I don't like this microphone up that way. And oldtuberadio.net. So, as I try to get my microphone set up, go ahead, Ed, over.
37.
At 37, you're number 3.
Okay. This is SWL number 7. Figured I would go ahead and check in the Tram TR27E, just like you had in the earlier part of the show.
All right, great. I will, let's see, I'm going to do 2 things here. First, I will load the Tram, because and this will be your radio, and that will show up. I believe that one will show up at oldtuberadio.net in the box. And were there to be a preview screen, which there isn't for some reason, it would show up there. But what we're going to do, because we had the nice-looking TR27E that we actually checked in here locally, I think I've got a picture were I to know exactly where it might be. and we'll get it to be live and automated. Okay, but we won't use the audio from that. We'll use the audio from the actual radio that's on, and then, I know this is complicated, isn't it? I need to go to, where do I need to go? Oh, I need to go here. And then I need to do that, and I need to do that. Beautiful. All right, sorry, go ahead, sir, over.
There you go. Well, the good old trim TR27E with the Electro Voice 638 microphone, 5x7 speaker, nice big S meter like you can see there on the picture. The only difference is I do not have the red dials. Mine are gray. But the little modulation light lights up and everything else is the same.
All right, and I'm not sure if that was an extra thing you could get, or, you know, they occasionally would fall off, or what, but that's definitely makes it look different. And we just saw a live S-meter adjustment. You can adjust it from the front. I guess that's the 0 adjustment, so hopefully you're zeroed on the S-meter adjustment. You can see that is just, it's nice to actually see it working. So how far into the green on the S-meter do I get?
Oh, well, I noticed that one was going up to 60, and on this one, the best is about 40, and you're about the best.
Okay, that's on the S-meter side. And there's probably AGC and gain adjustments and items like that. On the radio, you can see under the S-meter, there is the spot button that allows you to take the receive tuning, which is the big red knob next to the meter, off to the left, and adjust it so that your knob below that, the little dinky window on whatever channel you're on, will match frequency on that. And when you do the spot, what happens? The S-meter moves? You get a tone? Tell us about that. Over.
Yes, there is a little tone, and the S-meter moves, of course, and you just line it up to where you get the most signal and sound from, and there you are.
All right, that's I think the way Browning does it as well, matching the transmitter to the receiver. And you could do split operation if you wanted to. He's got that R2D2 looking microphone, and you are on the. Are you on the Electro Voice? You said.
Yes, I'm on the Electro Voice microphone, the 638.
All right, always smooth and nice, and we even get to see the modulation lights blink when he's talking on that. So I assume you get a little blinking out of your mod light, right?
Yes, it's a nice little neon red light. So yeah, it lights up real nicely.
All right, cool looking radio. I mean, if you just had one radio, this would be a nice little showstopper with all the knobs. It's actually big as radios go. I mean, not like the solid state stuff today's, but you got to have a nice big speaker, so for some good audio and a big meter, so big is a good thing. Back to the control room. Thank you, JT, for the use of your video tonight for the Tram TR27E, and thank you, Ed, for the audio portion tonight.
And thank you, OTR, and I'll let you get on with Cliff.
All right, I will do that. The Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California, Channel 11 is where we are at, stepping up into, he's been in his air share, but stepping up to the microphonium to take a transmission here on the old, let's see, can I get anything on the meter? All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. Hello, Cliff.
Hello, Dennis.
Wow, you are very loud.
Yeah. Oh, hello. That was strange. Yeah, something odd is going on with my signal. Anywho, Ed kind of stole my thunder there. So from Winnisquam, New Hampshire, or New Hampster, as I like to call it, this is the Tram TR27E. Let's see, 12 tubes, but all 23 channels, crystal controlled transmit and VFO receive. Something strange going on with my signal?
No, you look good. There's something strange going on with my... Wow, that is just way off. My full screens aren't there. I just don't know what's going on. Here, let me just do a couple more things. No, you are fine. Take a transmission. Let me put the S meter up.
Okay, I know what it is. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear him there in the background, but yeah, blue thunder is circling around the neighborhood. So that's what's making my my needle wiggle. And yeah, sorry for this is the gray bass amplified D104 microphone, so sorry for the harshness, but I assumed we were going to have a fight tonight with Hawaii or something like that. So using the big piercing loud microphone. I could hook up the DN50 and see if that's more pleasant.
This is not bad. It reminds me when people come in the Tram Titan, and the Titan 2 always had, with the D104, had this similar sound. And I would venture to guess that the Titan's the next model after this. There probably was a few upgrades, but they should sound the same. Yeah, it sounded like you were riding along. So no, we had no trouble hearing the chopper there that was chopping up your signal. No, it was still good. Maybe on your receiver it was doing wacky stuff, but your transmit, someone says it's the ghetto bird. The transmit was doing fine. For some reason, I have the extreme close-ups, but not the not extreme close-ups. So what I'm doing is I'm just showing Ed's radio. That's the radio we just heard. Just for now, we'll go to the live version of the Tram TR27E, and let's see. Oh, do you have the red knob inserts? And I bet that somewhere I have a picture of your radio, but I'm not finding it.
Ed has it. I emailed a picture of this radio to Ed. I have the same knobs that Ed has, but I have the chromium case. This is the chromium tramium. It's an all shiny chrome case. Other than that, I think it's about the same, but I wanted to ask you or Ed, if Ed's still around, somebody, his spot makes a noise? Mine does not. Mine is dead silent. It's just the needle goes up, and you watch the needle as you zero in on the receive frequency. But mine does not make a sound.
Mine does.
Yeah, okay, question. Is it, we'll call it a tone, or is it something that it makes a sound because you have to turn the volume up a lot?
The volume is very touchy. You don't have to hardly turn it up at all, and it makes a real slight little whistle, just a little...
What do you think, Cliff? Maybe you have to turn the volume up more to get a little bit of feedback going on?
Nope, it doesn't do it even if you do that. And yeah, I guess there's another similarity between mine and Ed's. I don't need to hardly crack the volume at all. It's got plenty of receive volume. And the noise limiter is another thing. You just kind of click it on. It takes care of the local racket. But if I turn it up, much beyond just turning it on, it's fully adjustable. It really starts just destroying the quality of the receive audio. So I just click it to the on position, and it does its job.
Oh, very nice. Cliff, you are getting a lot of reports about loud audio, the people listening in over the Universal Media Network. And I punched up the LKFS meter. I may be under modulate, so let me make sure that I am doing this right. I need control room monitor. So I'm going to bring my audio up. It should be about -19. So I may be a little under modulate. That may be the juxtaposition between what is going on. But you're about right at 18 LKFS. So very punchy on the audio. If you want to be mellow, you're in the DX mode. So if you want to be mellow, take a note from Ed for some type of EV style microphonium. But if you want to be in the DX mode, I think you have got it covered. Over.
Okay, how about this microphone here? This is the static Delta November 50, the DN50 alien head microphone. How is this one working?
It is still good. You're still putting in a nice level into the Orban meter. You definitely don't have that sort of top end brightness, but either one. I'm thinking that the other one's probably for people listening in may be a bit more impressive, but we're still getting very nice reports on either audio. Over.
Okay, yeah, this is, as I recall, we haven't done this in a while, but last time we tested these, I think this was a mellower sounding microphone. I'm glad it's still putting out enough audio to hear. I seem to remember it's not as loud as the D104, but yeah, as long as it's nice and quiet, we could keep it mellow with this one. I do not have the nifty Electro Voice microphone that Ed's got, but who knows? I'm also hunting for the original mic. The original mic would have been a Turner, I think, was a 254 or something like that, which is not amplified, and that might be interesting to try on this thing as well. Who knows? Well, I'll let you know one of these days if I snag one. I'll try it.
Indeed, and now that my ears, I'm wearing headphoniums. Now that my ears are getting used to the new sound, I actually like that. It's not so piercing. So this is definitely your. I'm going to talk more than 5 minutes rag chew microphone. The other one is the it's noisy, or hey you, or Skipland microphone. But they both have that. That radio seems to handle it well. I wish I had. Let me find the right thing here. I wish I had, and it's coming in future episodes, the display scope to see if that D104 microphone is doing a little bit of out of filter splatter or not. It doesn't sound like it, but sometimes you can see it on the meter. Thing like, well, that's why we're showing a little bit of extra power, because there's some IMD going on. But it certainly doesn't sound distorted to me. It sounds loud. So either one is playing well. Over. And yeah, Van Man saying sounds good either way.
Okay, back to the skip piercing D104. Like I say, from the way the skip was going earlier, I thought, I'm going to have to fight my way through. So I initially, set it up for the D104. Anyway, thanks for letting me check it in. I guess we got a couple of these in here now. And with that, I'll catch you next week.
Okay, and when I went to the S meter, and if you watch the playback, you will see that their average power level on this microphone is up. You're up above S9, where the other one was a little bit more, what they call it, dynamic range, and back and forth. So yeah, this is the microphone you're going to want to use if it's marginal copy for sure, because it brings your average level up. But for, I guess, pleasantness, either one will work. But after listening on the headphones for a little bit, the other one is a little bit mellower and sounding good. And obviously, if you're S9 or 10 over and the band is quiet, either one will work. All right, and we're seeing JT, that's ORN on the video with the Tram TR27E, which was the featured radio on ORN tonight. And right now it's been the featured radio 1 and radio 2 on the Old Tube Radio Network. But I have a feeling that things are about to change on our next check-in. Thank you, Cliff, for radio number 2. Sounds very good. This is the Old Tube Radio Network. They say they would like to do the Jingle Singers. So that will give Chris, if you're hopefully still there, that will give you time to jump into the air chair. We'll be back in about 20 seconds with radio number 3. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and maybe even you, the Old Tube Radio Network, beaconing the airwaves and since the mid-1980s. And when we got in the 21st century, we did some trickery by adding some audio streaming and video, but still the same thing. A way for you to sit back, and if you're not familiar with the older radios, to enjoy that. If you are, maybe to say, I had one of those, and I want one of those. Or maybe you are just wondering, what did CB sound like when these radios were on the air? And our operators do a great job of doing exactly what they did when these radios were brand new. It was just sitting down and talking, right? The first social media, just sitting down and having a good conversation, whether the FCC liked it or not. Back in 1966, they called it idle chit-chat, hobby communications, whatever. Anyway, we call it the old Tube Radio Network. Hello, Chris.
And hello, Dennis. Dennis, that's going to be a quick and easy one here. I want to check in my Chris 23 Plus CB radio transceiver. And this here is running this here with the non-amplified stock microphone that goes with this radio. Over.
All right, Chris 23 Plus. We have a shot of the Chris 23 Plus. It is the Panasonic 2 chassis. If you have a Robin T123B or one of those radios like that, you've got the same inside. The Chris 23 Plus, Chris got to, let's see, I'm going to pull up the close-up here. What did they give you? You got to squelch, volume, band spread, which I think is your receive RF tuning, and the mod light, take a transmission.
Yes, it does have the mod light. That's about all there is on it, because it has the PA and CB switch over there on the side, too. That's about it on it.
PA and CB, so no range boosts, although they were available. I wonder what font logo, KRIS, what font that was back in the 1970s. Now there's a switch underneath the meter, and I can't remember, it says RF. Oh, it's the SRF, and we've talked about this, and I'll keep it brief because I know you've got to get back, but if you have it in the S, when you are listening to me, there should be meter movement, but if it's in RF, would you be able to see the meter moving for me?
Well, I've got it in the RF, and it's showing my signal going out, all right? I put it over there to the S, and it does nothing.
Okay, so it does nothing on the transmit. Now, you should be seeing my wiggle meter. So while I'm talking, if you switch it over to RF, does it go back to zero? Over? Well, I'll give you a chance to switch. Does it go back to zero? Over?
Oh, yeah, it goes back to zero. Actually, when I keep down, went even further down zero. I guess the receive part, the signal part just ain't working right. Something's different on it, but all I know is the radio works.
Okay. The strangest thing, maybe there's a relay in there, and to save money, they take out the relay and give you a switch. It's like, you can do it. We're going to save $1.19 on that relay and make the radio a little cheaper. So I don't know. I don't know why they would do that, but it is good. It's a good radio. It sounds great, and we are logging in as radio number 3, Chris 23 Plus, operator Chris at the microphone, and thanks for bringing it by. Over.
Okay, well, I'm just going to flip the switch. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, this is the flip to switch frequency. It looks like the Comstat 25 and the 35. Well, I think, and Foxman, that's a good question. I wish Mitch was here. He would know. I think the Comstat 25 was not, I could be wrong about this, was not a Panasonic 2 chassis. The 35 might have been. 35 might have been, but I don't think the 25 was. But this is definitely, if you have Robin T123B, and then some of the other ones like that, that's inside is the same, but there's just certain models I think paid more, and they got more of the extra little features to come out on the front panel. What is the proper procedure to adjust load and plate? Oh, you know what? I could do it off the top of my head, but I don't want to say. I had an article on that talked about it it was for amplifiers, but I'm sure it's probably correct for both. If I can find that, because I will read that, but I guess you're tuning for max, but you are actually on the load, tune and load, plate and load. You are actually dipping the load a little bit, and then if you have a meter, the old Heathkit, you dip the plate. You tune for max and then dip the plate. You see, again, I'm gonna say it wrong. There is definitely a way to do that depending on what it is you're looking at, what kind of meter you're looking at. So I think you're dipping the plate. Someone will come in, but that is a good question. That should be one that Tony should ask. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network. We are listening for radio number 4.
37.
And 37 will do that. You'll have a double header, as it were. Go ahead.
All right, well, Dennis, listen here. I'm going to check in my G PowerMate by Jim Marine Products. 23 channel glows in the dark, and I'm running this here with the amplified D104 Lollipop, over.
All right, Gem Marine Products Jeep Power Mate. I will find the extreme close-up. And, ladies and gentlemen, I think we may have yet another Panasonic chassis. Look at the similarities between this and the Chris. And obviously, Chris, you probably already know. There's the PACB switch. There's the S-meter RF. You have squelch, volume, and fine-tune. Something's... No, okay, that's right. Just like on the other one. But they've given you 2 lights that I don't think you had on the... on the other radio, over.
Exactly right. This here's got transmit and receive, and also this here, the headphone up.
Oops, your audio cut out, so you might have been stretching the microphone. Now try that again.
Oh, it's working now, isn't it, right?
It is working, over.
All right, on this one here, now, on the other one, it had the headphone plug. This one does not.
Oh, that's weird. Why not give you a headphone plug? Or maybe it's in the back, external speaker. Does this have a PA? Yeah, it's got a PA, so you're gonna have an external. Sorry about the side to side, making people sick, moving my picture around here. The G Power Mate Gem Marine Products. They have the shipped. There's a name for that. The shipped wheel. I call it the steering wheel. Whatever that is. Their G is sort of logos to be. The marine thing. And you said the power microphone is on this one because it's definitely a little bit louder than the other one, over.
This here I've got the D104 pop, over.
Okay, yeah, definitely loud coming through. Let me go to the S meter. Take a transmission, over.
Okay. Well, it just nothing right. It just does what it's supposed to do, over.
All right, you're at good level on the OR band meter, and someone giving you a thumbs up on the audio. And yeah, it belongs in a boat along with the marine radio channels, which I'm sure Gem Marine made. So you could have your marine channels and your CB radio on the boat. Sounds good. I don't know if you've ever had it on a boat, but it sounds good wherever you've got it. You are Radio 4 on the Gem Marine G Power Mate Radio. Thanks for bringing it by to the Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, well, I'll be back in just a few minutes because I got to let the other one warm up, as you know. All right, Des, thank you.
Number 7.
And Chris, you were 9 pounds and good modulation. Let's go back to the control room. We have a spot for radio number 5, and I think it has just been filled. Hello, Ed.
And good evening to OTR. This time, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
Tried and true radio. I missed my preview screen. The Browning Golden. I'm going to stretch them out a little bit. I've got a different video here that makes them look a little flatter and whiter than they actually are, but they are pretty big. Some may argue, and I wouldn't I give them any grief about it, possibly one of the prettiest radio combinations, a transmitter and receiver, to hit the market with the nice golden knobs, the large meters for both transmit and receive, the large dials for your transmitter and receiver, the on-the-air light, the giant speaker, the Eagle. You just can't go wrong with a Browning ticket transmission.
And there you go. Well, the Tram has 12 tubes. Well, this one has 12 tubes in the receiver and 9 in the transmitter, giving you 21. So there's a whole bunch of tubes in these two.
Yeah, you know what? That's another question for Harvey. It's like, why, when you can get away with 7 tubes, like the Hallicrafter CB3A or that great radio that Joe's got, the Hustler, when you can get away with a receiver and a transmitter at 7 tubes, and on the big radios, you can get away with 12 and 13 tubes, and usually the 13th tube is on a sideband radio for the, whatever the product detector, whatever they need. Why is it that Browning, well, maybe not why is it, what is it that they're doing? What are those extra tubes in there for? Are they using rectifier tubes when they don't have to? Are they push-pulling audio so they need double, 6BQ5s? What's going on with the receiver? Is there extra something? That's a good question. Why? And we're certainly not complaining that there's all these tubes. But sheesh. You know, when it's time to take those tops off and go retube it, that is a pretty penny, I bet.
Yes, and thankfully to Harvey, this one was brought back to life. Tubes, a few other things, some capacitor and something else had to be done. I forgot everything. Yeah, it was a little bit of a job, but hey, got to keep it on OTR.
37.
Your Saturday night place to be, OTR, sponsored by our great radios from our tube radio operators for a long, long time. So well said, Ed. Radio number 5, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Did you have one? Do you still have it? Do you wish you still have it? First out in 1972, the upgrade from the Browning Golden Eagle Mark II, where they were able to take what was it, like total of 5 pieces in the Mark II and put them into 2 units and make them exactly the same size, so they look pretty cool if you want to stack them on top or go side to side. And then just quietly mention that, oh, by the way, it's $700. And then see what your reaction would be. Thanks, Ed. It's sounding good.
And thanks, Dennis. Oh, by the way, if you want a large diaphragm condenser for OTR, I have a donation for you.
Oh, all right. Well, I've got a small that I'm not using. Then I went back to the small diaphragm condenser. So, did you find something? Was there dumpster diving or what?
No, actually, I have a couple of the ones that I was running before. I got the ribbon, and yeah, I've just got it sitting here. So, shock mount thing. If you want to try it, and if you like it, keep it.
All right, good deal. I'm always checking out new microphoniums. It's amazing. You would think maybe they don't do that much, but depending on what you're running, and the radio, and the mode, and what you put behind the microphone, it can if it's got a little high end or a little low end or a little mid range thing, it can really make the mix. So all right, I will make a note on that, and it sounds like it would be fun to try. Radio number 5, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Yes, they did make a Mark III that was AM, and you will know because the transmitter will be about half or 2/3 the size of the sideband transmitter. Thanks, Ed.
And thanks, OTR, and hello to Captain Robert on the chat there, too.
37.
And 37. All right, don't go away. Chris, you'll be radio number 6. And likewise, Captain Robert, thanks for joining us. Always great to have you along, to know you're feeling good enough to jump in and say hello, radio. Also, who was it? GWD Labs mentioned Dr. J, one of the, along with Mr. OBP, one of the people that actually put the old tube radio network together ever so long ago. So thanks for giving a shout out to SWL number 1, Jim, Dr. J, and let's go to radio number 6 at the unofficial OTR time of 40 minutes after 9 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. Hello, Chris.
And hello, Dennis. It's SWL 37. We would like to check in this radio if it's all possible.
It is all possible were I to get to the Rolodex, take a transmission and tell me what you got. Over.
Okay, well, I don't think it'd be too hard for you to figure this one out. This is my ICO Sentinel Pro 23-channel tuber. Sorry about that. It's a 24-channel tuber. Had to get that straightened out. It's the Super MC11A by General Radio, and we are running this here with the handheld stock microphone. Over.
The handheld stock microphone, I believe it's ceramic. It is not. I don't believe that would be a carbon microphone. It would be different. Let's say there's a shot of it. The General CM, Charlie Mike 3, so that's probably ceramic. Tilting down to the General Radio Telephone Company, sort of gold. I mean, the pictures are tinted somewhat, so it's hard to tell, but Almost looks like the front of the Golden Eagle. Items on this one. This was their top-of-the-line radio, master control. The tone control. The distance local range, which is sort of a switchable RF gain control, probably set to whatever, and I'm thinking you could probably set that up. There's probably some way to set that so you can make it a little bit more or not more. Radio and bullhorn. Let me stop right there. Have you ever gone out and bullhorned over?
Not with this. No, I haven't.
Okay, but you could if you wanted to. You could probably set up something out in the front. Maybe sell lemonade. You could say, lemonade, only 25 cents. Get it here, and you could use the Super MC11A with the bullhorn and the ANL out and in. Have you done a test with the ANL? See if it takes away car noise?
Yeah, I have turned it on and off. It does make a difference.
GFD, you're sounding loud. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, some of them are good, some of them not so good. Some have a noise blanker and an ANL, which I think they did on the Regency Imperial. But, what was the old Volkswagen Bugs? That was your test. Like, have your friend with the VW Beetle pull up into the driveway and see if the ANL works.
Really? Now, also, this here's got a distance and local range also. I think that only works just on receive, though.
You are correct. It is sort of what they call an RF gain control, but it's switchable. So were it to be transmit, it would be like the Lafayette 19 has a 100 milliwatt power switch, but you don't need it. That one works great.
And also it has the NF tone, which actually you flip that on and really makes things quiet.
Yes, probably does some null frequency or something, but it sounds good. Quiet is definitely not. When I hear the word quiet and that radio, they don't seem to go together. Actually, at least on the transmit part, it is sounding good. General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. It is radio number 6, and we've logged it in. It is a fan favorite. Over.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. And this is it for me. And I bet you can guess what I'm getting ready to go do now.
It might be movie time. It might be something that doesn't involve radio.
Absolutely right, sir.
All right, sounding good. Thanks for Radio 6, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. I've got a crossband check-in. I'm going to get that right now before we take another radio.
All right, well, thank you very much, Dennis, and we'll talk to you later. I'm out.
KB6 GFD, back listening.
Dennis, had a gig today, and, I just got back and kind of settled in, and thought I'd say howdy, and did you get my text regarding Paul, over?
Yes, I did. We'll get you checked in here. I'm glad you had some radio time going on, and I made a note. Perhaps they are listening in. Might be the way to go. So I said hello to Paul and Kelly, but I kind of know how that can be. So I'm imagining Kelly's definitely going to have her hands full. Over.
Sure, Roger. Anyway, I know you're busy, Dennis, so I'll let you go. Anyway, I just wanted to say howdy. KB6GFD, W6KUD.
All right. And we've got you and 74 checked in. You are sounding good. Hope you had a great time tonight. And thanks for checking in the old Tube Radio Network. KB6GFD. Okay, a check-in from SWL 25 and SWL 74, and a visit from a very affectionate kitty. Why do you stink? from Pink here, saying, you know what? I've given you long enough to not give me treats, so I'm going to stick my tail in your face. We are listening for any and all radios. Oh, they're pointing to the jingle, the singers of jingle. We can do that. You are listening to the old Tube Radio Network, I think.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
All right, and there's going to be trouble. I'm thinking right now that Bulldog football game is getting very interesting because it's getting very quiet on the local channels here. We don't have any. Let me go back to the DX map. I was really thinking and hoping that perhaps as the evening wore on, we would have that short DX sporadic e-skip, and you can see nothing's going on except, where's that? New Jersey, New York? Somebody's trying to get on 10 meters, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, the Old Tube Radio Network, we're standing by. Oh, thank you, 52. 10. Oh, wow, 10 to 43, Fresno State. Wonder who they're playing. Anyway, it sounds like it ain't. It's not good for the other team. Paulo, hello to you from Brazil. Occasionally can hear Brazil when I tune in 20 meters. I don't think we'll be doing too good a shot into South America here tonight. But thanks for joining us. We are on 11 meters, 27085, on a net that we call the Old Tube Radio Network, where we talk about, check in, and kind of learn about the tube radios for the Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service, many of which were sort of begat from the amateur guys, from E.F. Johnson and Hallicrafters and Hammerland and Swan, making their versions of the 11-meter radio. So it's a pretty fun evening. We are listening for radio number 7. I think Bulldogs are in some new division or conference or something, so it's very possible that they would play places that weren't normally on the list years ago, so Kent State could be one of them for sure. And Kent State is kind of infamous, but if anybody is familiar with the band Devo, D-E-V-O, they originated from Kent State back in 1970. Yeah, I think, was it Mothersbaugh and Casales were students there, and we're doing what students did back in 1970. It's being weird. I think no claws. When the claws come out, that is not a good thing. No chewing. No chewing. All right, bye, Katie. Bye. Bye. Oh, you know what? I am going, because it's getting close to the end here, but I will see if we can fire up, and if it's actually working, the link up to British Columbia. See if that's going to be on tonight. So I'll give that a shot here in the background. Yeah, Foxman, the wild, insane, whipping tail of Kitty Death had turned on, and I thought it's better to get out of that mode as soon as possible, because I've been there, done that. Now that is an ominous sound.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh, boy. Okay, check my Golden Beagle in. R68T68 by Browning Lavatory.
Okay, and there is 428. I've got the wrong volume up. Don't go away. No way, Harvey. Glad you are back in the radio room. Make an adjustment. So yeah, we got loud and clear from Squamish. I'm going to bring the audio up again on Squamish. 428. Take another transmission. I know there's a bit of a delay going on, but you've got some nice audio. And I do think we will be able to hear you here. Just the AGC. And maybe get the waterfall in here. All right, there it is, 428 coming in live and direct. I'm up there in Squamish, BC, looking good on the scope. And some nice audio, so thanks for the live and direct check-in right on cue. The link is definitely working tonight. Okay, Harvey, you heard that.
Hey, Dennis, it's Albert.
Oh, and there's Albert.
I'm talking to you on my old TCR Realistic 23 channel. It glows red when you speak loud enough, but it's my old radio. It's the oldest one I have. Until next weekend, I'm picking up an old helicopter out of Kamloops, BC, so I won't be around next weekend, but you guys have fun. We'll be listening.
All right, thanks. Boy, that's Realistic is sounding good. I have my first transistor radio, big 23 channel, was a TRC-23B, which was the original Realistic Navajo before they made the updated version with the receive Delta tune. And those things they had a wacky internal power supply. If you ran that thing off of a 12-volt power supply, or when you went mobile, it was great. But if you used the internal power supply, that thing, you could see all the lights on the meters dim and everything else. So, yeah, very interesting. But if you've got one of those Radio Shack TRC-23Bs, run it off at 12 volts. Don't use the internal. If you can help it, don't use the internal power supply. So thanks, guys. Sounding good from British Columbia this evening on the loop. Okay, Harvey, thank you for standing by, and I do believe you have an item of interest.
Roger, the Golden Beagle by Browning Lavatories, R68T68. And as far as standing by, to actually use this radio, I have to stand up and grab the mic off the middle shelf, because that's where it is. So I just stood by.
Yes, I have had things like that before. Now I've got the little swing arm boom, so if I have to stand up, I can move the microphone to get a little closer to where I am and make it sound good. There's the R68T68. T is the transmitter, R is the receiver. There were numbers. There was R27, S23. Was there a 69? What was the 69? Was that the Mark II?
Roger, the Mark II.
All right, well, this, I know you said you did a refurb or whatever on this, and it sure sounds good. You did a good job.
Oh, I appreciate that, thank you. I did a tiny bit on the transmitter, not much at all. But the receiver, couldn't believe it when I opened it up. I had never gone through it. I guess it just worked. So after many, many years, finally went through it. Okay, appreciate it. Catch you later.
All right, thanks for jumping in. Hello to Paulo, who's listening in from Brazil. Out there he's at Papa Yankee 2. So I'll be looking out for the Papa Yankee 2s from South America. Oh, before you go, just a quick 25 words or less, and this is carbon microphones. And I'm sure you've dealt with some of the radios that have carbon microphones. Do they actually, are they working on a voltage? Is there a bias voltage coming into that carbon microphonium, so you have to be careful when you're doing something?
Yes. Depending on what they do or how they configure it, the early Raytheon type radios had that kind of really squished flat mic, and it was carbon cartridge, and the activating circuit was inside the radio. Sonar took the circuit and out of the radio, put it in some of their big gray microphones, and did it that way, using the voltage that would key up the relay, or activate the relay, using some dropping resistors and bleeder resistor and a cap to provide the voltage for the cartridge. Sonar's idea was very good, because if you didn't want to use that mic, you unplugged it and you put a D104 plus 3 plus 2, whatever you wanted, you plugged it in the radio. But some of the original hand mics had that circuit inside. My 3023 came with a mic with that circuit.
All right, so it was a simple plug and unplug, because we had mentioned something about a bias voltage on a carbon microphone. Somehow I didn't realize that, but yeah, they're the same cartridge that you have on the older dial telephones, and of course the phone lines have a 48 volt or 40 volt something power coming in, so they must have done the same thing to bias their carbon microphonium. So, and I know Brownings and, like you said, the King circuits can sometimes be 80 or 90 volts, so you'd have to discreetly figure out how to get that voltage the right way.
They did that by using 2 resistors. The voltage would come in, and then the high voltage would go to the relay part when you're keying, and then after that resistor would be the voltage to activate the cartridge, along with, I think, a ceramic cap and an electrolytic cap, I think, and then another resistor after the voltage going to ground that kind of cut the voltage down to the proper what they needed. Anyway, you did say 2,500 words or less, right?
I did. I didn't want you to disappoint your fans and make a true hit and run, even though that's what you need to do. So I think you have fulfilled your duties here.
Okay, appreciate it. Catch you next week.
All right, I think we will be here. Yeah, we should be here next week. I may be out of the sweater, but we will be here for sure. The Jingle Singers. Is it 10 o'clock already? The Jingle Singers are doing what they do best.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Never know we could have so much fun being modern. And I want to say hello, Radio 2, SWL 15, jumping in, taking time out from the busy schedule out there. And checking out, I've got you, Hans, looking good. So we've got Copenhagen, we've got Paulo from Brazil. And so, and the X-Bio, okay, all right, Paulo, yeah, do not get yourself in trouble. We don't want that. So I hope she enjoys. Again, if you're in the radio room, I'm sure she knows the ins and outs of radio, but sometimes when that channel, when that frequency calls, you have to turn the dial and modulate that as well. Thanks. 73 to you, and we'll say good morning to our stations where it is morning or going to be, and good evening to our stations here on the other side of midnight, and make any last calls for check-ins before we sign out. Tonight, this skip worked out kind of nice tonight. It almost turned off in time for the roll call, but it wasn't bad. I think I heard everybody on the early check-ins and anybody that wanted to come back. So that worked out quite nicely. So were I to get my fanfare, I could officially do the totals here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
All right, thanks. The current and final totals. I'll have to go into this and find out why my preview channel isn't showing up. Hopefully I can remember how to do that in this OBS software. Oh, and speaking of chopped liver, what is this chopped liver? Speaking of chopped liver, let me do the official check-in. I see, because part of my thing is broken tonight, I actually have to go here, and then I have to go here, and then it'll go up to the screen, and we have to go here. All right. 23 checked in. We got the Squamish boys checked in. We've got Brazil, Denmark, right? We've got everybody. Oh, and Richard, just in case. It's still O Dark 30 in Wild Wildemar. Let me also get 78 checked in. As people realize, oh, is it that OTR thing going on tonight? All right. I think it is. We're dressed in it is the fall autumn look. The powers that be at the Old Tube Radio Network said we want you to represent the fall look, even though it's 85 degrees. All right, back in a second. I need to get some water here. Yeah, there's something new in the works. Oh, the pen is falling down. Let me go back to the picture. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. 7 radios checking in tonight, and on the SWL side, I think I've just fixed up. We added an extra one on page 1, and we added an extra one on page 2. And so we had 20 on page 1, 20 checking in on page 2, 17 on page 3, 24 on page 4, for a total of 81 shortwave listeners tonight. 7 radios. In theory, if we want to count the Tram TR27E that we saw a lot of from Old Radio Night tonight, then the Trams would be the official most heard radio. And we do it that way. If we don't, we take the ones here locally, we have a tie between the Trams and the Browning. Started off with the Tram TR27E from Mr. Ed. And of course, the Tram TR27E from Old Radio Night. It was nice to use that for a little video to see the modulation light working and the meter moving, and of course all the antics that go on the Old Radio Night air chair. The Tram TR27E from Cliff was radio number 2. Both sounded good. Cliff, listen to the playback. Either of those microphones work well. That radio. That's a sign of a good radio, where you can push the audio and not sound too flat toppy, and then be mellow and still sound good for everything. So nice stuff. Chris 23 Plus on his Chris 70 plus, I guess. Or Chris 70 plus on his Chris 23 plus. Mr. Go Boy for Radio 3 and Radio 4 on the Gem Marine Products G Power Mate. Mr. Ed came back with the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. I'm not sure how you would tell the year. I'm sure if Jimmy was in here, there may be some serial numbers or some way to tell if you're a 72, 73, 74, 75, 76 by just looking perhaps at the back of the radio, or maybe they changed something. That would be an interesting question to ask Jimmy. So Chris was in the Gem Marine, Ed on the Mark III, and Chris came back on the General Radio Telephone MC, Super MC 11A. Got to remember that Super. And moments ago, the Browning Golden Beagle, the R68 T68, making its toasty debut as radio number 7 tonight. And so there you have it, another old tube radio network that seemed to go without a hitch or two or three, thanks to our stations. We had a crossband check-in, Echolink check-in, and a satellite uplink check-in, as well as the local stations. So have a great rest of your weekend. Get on the air if you can. If you're studying for your ham radio tickets, keep doing that, because the airwaves are still looking pretty good here in cycle 25. And I will say 73 from beautiful Fresno. Let's see, somebody said they wanted the temperature, the weather report, and I can do that from the City College weather report. 72. All right, the temperature's come down. Maybe it is. I'll go outside in my sweater. Humidity 56%, and we are looking good with winds pretty much calm out of nowhere. So have a great evening, everybody. Your Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you, Dennis, and thanks to Bozo Control.
That Bozo Control. And even a honk for Captain Robert. Over.
Good night, Dennis.
Well, I'm debating on whether I need Ovaltine or not.
Ice Ovaltine.
That's not a bad idea, and I made plenty of ice today.
Me too. Okay, we'll see ya. Catch you next week.
All right, and that radio does sound good.
Thank you.
Well, this isn't a tube radio, but it is using 1930s technology for the microphone.
Yeah, pretty smooth on the audio, and it's picking up all frequency flavors and not mixing them the wrong way.
Yeah, not too bad. I'll still have to play with it a little bit.
And you are going through the UR6 box, or I can never remember that call.
Yes, the UR6QW.
UR6QW. All right. Does that have a compressor in it or not?
Yes, it does.
Okay, sounds good. I know I use quite a bit more compression on AM than I do for sideband, but I got to be careful not to overdo it. Well, with this radio, it's hard to say, but sometimes you can kill it with too much compression, but if you don't have it, then with the solid state radio, sometimes they don't perform as well. Although the one you've got, it's flawless. You can't make that radio sound bad.
Well, actually, I have accomplished it, so yeah, you can't make it sound like poo.
Well, true. Okay, we're still up and running. For the SWLs who are inquiring, it's 1930s technology. So, because it's using a ribbon, but it's not a 1930s microphone though. It's not an old D104 or RCA 77.
No, the ribbon microphone is definitely 1930s technology, but this is a modern version.
Okay, and it are working well. Well, if I can ever see it clear, I'll have to bring, and I know it's going to happen. It's not going to sound good because it's have an issue, but I'll see if I can bring the RCA 77 DX 5 pounds of ribbon microphone in and do a test with it sometime. But I tried it with the 44 one time, and the older ribbons, man, they are so sensitive to room wind noise and atmospheric type things that are very hard to use. So that one sounds like it actually is a little bit easier to manipulate.
Yes, it is. But it is actually like I say, an active powered type ribbon, where most of them are passive.
That's correct. I think we have to turn off the phantom power because we're running a Neumann. We switch it. I think we have to turn the phantom off for the old ribbon microphonium. All right, very interesting, as they used to say. All right, I'm going to be out of the air chair for a little bit.
7-3, stay here.
And Charlie, you are correct. You do not want to blow into the microphone. We had them at Fresno State at all the radio performance classes, and that's the first thing when you walked into the studio and you were learning about microphoniums and how to hold your script and all that was the problem was you wouldn't blow into him, but you ended up, somebody wanted you to talk loudly and you would shout into the microphone, and basically like blowing that air blast could actually dislodge that ribbon. And that happened a couple of times, and they had some people there that were aptly could redo the ribbons on them. But yes, indeed, you've got to be careful to not expel much air into the old style ribbon microphoniums. And we used to have, and it wasn't a bad idea, we used to have covers that went over the microphones when they were not in use, just in case.
Always a good idea.
All right, 73 from the Old Tube Radio Network mode of operation.
And good night to all the SWLs.